Hey there everyone, yes, this is going to be my first review since coming back. Today I'm going to be reviewing something which many people have viewed as classic. This is The Lost Boys, classic vampire movie. It came out in the 80s, a very 80s movie. Now I believe it was directed by Joel Schumacher, who also did the great movie The Phantom of the Opera and made the master disappointment that is known as Batman and Robin. Well, The Lost Boys was great and classic. I love the fact that they never made a sequel to it, and it continued to grow as a classic vampire story. That wasn't until this Tuesday when this will be coming out, The Lost Boys 2, The Tribe. Now, when I first heard about this, the first thing that came to my mind is, and it never made theaters. It went straight to DVD. That first tells me that there's not a lot of backing for this film, and that it's just going to fall apart. However, I was surprised when I started watching this movie, I got very into it. So much to the point to where I was surprised on how good it was. Now, first off, let me say it's not, in any way, as good as the original. The original is the original. It was the first and it was the best. Very rarely do sequels do better than the movie, especially when the movie has had 20 years to sit in pop culture and become as popular as it is. Now, Corey Feldman is only one of two actors who decided to make a return for this film. Corey Feldman plays Edgar Frog. You might remember him as one of the two Frog brothers in the first film. He makes a strong presence. However, there was one slight problem I had with him, is that I just felt like he remade the character. Now, towards the end of this movie, you come to understand that a lot has happened between what happened 20 years ago and what's going on now. There's been a lot of bad blood and bad history for him. However, that doesn't seem to carry over. He seems like the same person that he was 20 years ago. It kind of hurts a bit when a person loses friends and family and he has no reaction to it. It just didn't seem right. Now, this Ted Hangenbrick, or however the hell you say his name, you might remember from playing. I had an argument with my friend about this. I believe it was Stifler's younger brother in American Pie Bandcamp. He got his dick stuck in the, what was it, the tuba or the something like that. He comes in here playing a surfer who moved into a house with his sister. The house is owned by his aunt. His aunt is a very bitchy woman. You know, they come into the belief that she's letting them live there for free because they're family. I mean, and she makes a statement saying, well, I can rent this out for $800, but I'm only charging you guys $650. The place is in crap condition. I never liked her. She was a poor character. She only makes 4 or 5 appearances throughout the entire series, and I think that was 4 or 5 appearances more than what she needed to. Maybe 1 appearance, maybe 2, possibly 3, small, quick, easy, and out. But no, they made her as annoying, and they kind of pushed her at the very end. And they ended it the same way they did with the first one. Now, once the credits stop, once the credits starts going, watch them. There's 2 sets of credits. There's the end of the movie, the credits, then the real end of the movie, then the credits. Now, I suggest watching that, and then watch the alternative endings. The end of this film, I thought was kind of sad. It was a bit depressing to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of such great characters not returning and such poor decisions into those characters. But watching the alternative endings, it makes me believe that it would have been possible for not only a 3rd film, but a 3rd great film. The Lost Boys 2 had a lot of potential to it. No doubt about it. It had many interesting plot points, characters, and other great references. And it was interesting to see how vampires would react in this day and age, not the whole dark, goth, Bela Lugosi interview with the vampire characters who are all mopey and depressed. Really, this is a great way to interpret vampires. I thought it was a very, very good movie. However, there are just some bad acting at points. There's some kind of bland lines. It had a lot of great potential to it, a lot of great 5-star, 10 out of 10 potential to it. But with certain scenes, certain actions, and certain obvious references, not only to the first movie, but foreshadowing of things. Like when the sister puts up some deer antlers on the wall, pay close attention to that. That's an obvious rip from the first film. I mean, even got Kiefer Sutherland. Now, Kiefer Sutherland's brother is in this, and you know, I have to say that was kind of a cheap. That was kind of a cheap motif to the original. If you're going to do something, I say do it all out. Similar to like what I've heard what The Dark Knight did. It didn't reference the first one too much. It obviously had to go back to the source material, of course. But this one, it's been 20 years since, and making too many references to the original might hurt people who've never even seen the original Lost Boys. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, I have to give this movie a 7 out of 10. Now, the original, if you're going to ask me, I would give it a 9 out of 10. Great concepts, great ideas, a very interesting way to bring back some old characters, but in the end, I don't think they did the characters right. I believe they altered the reality of the vampires from the first film, and when you alter the reality of a series, it can kind of fuck with the flow of things. However, I would at least say rent this. I might be wrong. I truly might be. I am such a fan of the first one, and to see a series that was made 20 years ago be updated today, I believe that it might very well have been a pretty good translation. Now, you might not like it. I understand this is kind of a B-movie feel to it. It didn't get a great, $30 million push, but with like the updates of the old song, Don't Cry Little Sister, certain elements that were brought into the movie, I thought it was decent. And my favorite line of this movie, "Warriors, come out and play." An obvious reference from the movie The Warriors. There was just such a great touch to this movie, and although many people might not like it, I personally think it was a pretty decent film, and I know I'll be buying it once the price drops down to like $14.99 or something like that. So everyone, that's my review for The Lost Boys 2, The Tribe. This is my first review since returning, and I will be posting up one more review within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So pay close attention. Later.